nice uniforms. I can't give you guts, and I can't give you heart.
Good evening, Tigers. Thanks for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed that special video presentation we had for you. In case you weren't already hyped enough or you didn't already know, now you do. Because game day is back in Clemson this Saturday for our game against Louisville. So get pumped, get up, and get ready. Oh, and the extra point starts right now. Welcome to the Extra Point Tigers. Thanks for tuning in once again. I'm Wyatt, hosting tonight, and today on the panel we have Matthew, Thomas, and Zach. So we've got a great show for you tonight, chock full of tons of sports information because right now it's sports prime time. We've got NFL season and college football seasons in full gears. The baseball season's heading towards the playoffs, and NBA is starting rather soon. So we're going to jump right in with the NFL. As you already know, there's been a slew of injuries to huge, big-name players lately. Just guys like, Jay Cutler, for example, have been going down left and right all over the place. And adding his name to the list just this past week, J.J. Watt, the star player for the Houston Texans, the guy who's been carrying their defense the past 2 or 3 years. Back injury that he had surgery for at the end of last season. Came back, some might say too early, and now he's re-injured his back, so further proving that he probably did come back too early. He's on the injured reserve right now, looking like he might miss the rest of the season, but they're not ruling him out to return at the very end. But we'll have to wait and see how that goes. But what do you guys think about this J.J. Watt situation with the Texans? And you think he's going to come back this season, or if he does, is it rushing him back? Let's get your thoughts. We'll start with Matthew.
I think this back injury shows, I guess, how much we were taking for granted J.J. Watt, kind of. Back injuries are pretty recurring, so we might not see the same J.J. Watt. This is a little overreaction, but we might not see the same J.J. Watt like we have seen ever again. I mean, he's 27. He's on the decline. I have a few stats here. In his first 5 years, J.J. Watt has 75 sacks compared to Lawrence Taylor's 50. He has 4 Pro Bowls compared to Lawrence Taylor's 5, and then 3 Defensive Player of the Years compared to his 2. So he was on a Lawrence Taylor level. He could even be above it. So the future, obviously, we all hope that he stays healthy because he could be one of the greatest defensive players of all time.
I think if this was anybody else, we would be worried. But because this is J.J. Watt, we're not worried. This is J.J. Swat from the Texans. We know this man. We know how good he is. He's the best defensive player in the NFL.
That's debatable.
Who would you think that would be better?
Vaughn.
I was about to say.
It's a possibility, but I think he's the best player. But I'm really sad to see him re-injure the same thing because he was on a comeback. He got the surgery done and everything, and I really thought he was going to be able to battle back from this and just keep going on the same Pro Bowl type stats. But I think he's going to be okay. I definitely think that he might come later on this season, but
I don't know if he should though. It depends on how the Texans are doing. If they're not going to make the playoffs, or if they're just kind of mediocre, no.
They invested a lot of money in the Brock Osweiler and
That's
Lamar
true.
Miller. They better hope they make the playoffs.
You would hope so.
J.J. Watt, seeing him go down, back injury, like you said, that's a tough thing to recover from.
Oh yeah.
Anytime you hear back, you get concerned. LeBron James, he had some back problems last season.
Tony Romo,
yeah.
Yep.
Always going down with something wrong with his back.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So anytime you hear back, you get worried about players and athletes. So
yeah.
I think he'll be fine. He'll bounce back. It'll be interesting to see, like you all said, how the Texans are doing. I think that's going to play a role. If they're struggling, he might not come back. If they're doing good, he may not come back. You never know. But I think their defense as a whole, they've really not lived up to standards. When they got Will Fork, everybody thought they would be a top 5 defense, and they kind of fell off. I still think they need some secondary players, but I think I saw something earlier that said White, he's led the league in sacks, total tackles, and pass deflections since like 2011.
Right.
So that shows how dangerous he is when he's on the field, especially getting after the quarterback, stopping the run, whatever it may be.
Definitely.
So you guys are go on.
It's going to be interesting to see what happens when he comes back.
Yeah, you guys are 100% certain that he will come back. You're not worried about him at all.
I don't think so. I think he's gonna be fine.
I think he'll come back.
I don't know. I mean, he's in the prime, but he can be on the decline in the next few years. So
That could be true.
the back injury, I don't know. I don't know if he's gonna be 100%. That's just me. I wouldn't be 100% sold on it, but
I don't think he'll be 100%, but I think he'll be able to play through the pain.
Yeah.
I think he'll still be a factor on the field.
He's a really great athlete,
Yeah.
so I think that he's gonna that's gonna help him bounce back.
It's like LeBron James. Even when you're not 100%, even when he's not 100%, he's a factor.
okay.
You're gonna feel him when he's on the court, when he's on the field.
Yeah.
So I just feel like he's gonna be a threat.
Yeah. Again, J.J. Watt has the reputation for being one of the toughest players in the National Football League, so that's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. You know Watt's going to want to come back as soon as possible, but we'll have to wait and see. Another big storyline this NFL season has been the quarterbacks. A lot of that has been quarterbacks being injured, but we've also seen some of these rookie quarterbacks that have stepped up here as of late, who have won starting jobs and are making the most of it. Guys like Dak Prescott for the Cowboys, Carson Wentz for the Eagles, and Trevor Siemian for the Broncos, to name the 3 most notable ones, that have been really standing out and delivering pretty good performances through the first 3 games of the season. So my question to you guys is, which one do you think is the best? Like, if you were going to center your franchise around a quarterback, and you had to pick one of these 3, which one would it be?
First off, I like to start off by saying Trevor Siemian is not a rookie. But,
Is he not? No, he's not.
He's
Yeah,
not a rookie.
He's not.
First-year starter, so we'll give it a
Yeah,
technicality.
first starter.
All right,
Okay.
but
Tough situation.
I think going off of what I've seen so far this season, I would have to say Carson Wentz.
You think so?
Yeah, either him or Dak.
Not Simeon?
No,
Really?
Trevor
pick
Siemian,
Simeon.
he's turned the ball over.
That's a tough situation.
He's turned the ball over.
So
The Cowboys have kept it simple for Prescott, playing to his strengths.
Prescott only has 1 touchdown pass, and he has the best offensive line and a really good rookie running back, Ezekiel Elliott.
Okay, so I can't choose him?
I'm just saying, he only if you're looking at
He has weapons around him.
that makes. I think Trevor Siemian is the best one out of all of them. I'm surprised you didn't pick him.
I think Carson. I got to go with Carson Wentz because he threw all over my Steelers this past week.
Well, that's what I was going to bring up. He's played the Bears, the
Yep.
Browns, and the Steelers.
Steelers.
Are those good defensive teams?
Well,
Don't.
Steelers?
No.
None of
That
them.
secondary is
That's
terrible.
the secondary. James Harrison, Lawrence Timmons.
Okay, yeah,
Great
but they're known for having
Great
great linebackers.
of course.
What about the secondary?
He's throwing to the receivers.
Who's he throwing to? That's true. He's throwing the receivers, right? Who's guarding the receivers? Players in the secondary, right?
Secondary.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna let
Okay.
you win that
All
one.
right.
We'll be
No,
back
that's
when we talk
I
about
would have
Chris
picked
Bosh.
Wentz,
All right.
but his opponents are too weak for me to justify him being the best quarterback. I picked Simeon because he beat the Panthers on opening night with a bunch of pressure, and he also beat the Bengals on his first true road team, and they're like at their average defensively. So I think Simeon's the best, even though he has a little turnover problem.
Yeah.
They all have I have the stats. They all have around 760 yards. Their passer ratings are within 10. So those aren't really that disputable, but I just looked off the opponents who they played.
Yeah, the Bengals, they really have a physical defense. They're not really good, but they're physical.
Yeah.
Pac-Man Jones, he's physical.
Montez Burfict.
Montez Burfict, physical.
Being a thug.
They have a very physical team, but all around, like, their defense isn't amazing.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I mean,
You would
he
would
played
think
the
that it would knock
Panthers,
around.
you know, beat the
Trevor's-
Panthers.
Yeah.
He does have a
Pretty
great-
solid
He
defense.
has a great defense behind him.
That is true. He has a great
And
defense.
he also has weapons around him, too, with
Exactly.
Emmanuel Sanders and Demarius
Well,
Thomas.
Carson Wentz has one of the best defenses in the league this year too.
That's very
Yeah,
true.
The Eagles D line is
that's
stacked.
been surprising.
That's
to
very
me.
surprising. They're top 5.
I didn't expect that at all.
No, I did not either. But
And then with the weapons around him, all he really has is Jordan Matthews. They signed
Jordan Matthews.
Dory Green Beckham. They picked him up.
they have
in
Ryan
the
Matthews, but
offseason.
he just got injured. So
Yeah.
I mean,
They
he has
have
the worst.
Sproles.
He has the
Darren
worst.
Sproles, too.
He has the worst weapons out of the 3
Yeah,
quarterbacks.
definitely.
So I mean, it's close. I just think Simeon's the best one.
All right, well, speaking of Trevor Siemian, his Broncos have started off the season at a 3-0 record, which is kind of surprising to a lot of people considering their questionable quarterback situation that they had going into this season. Many people not knowing if Siemian could get the job done. So far, he's proven he has been able to, but it's only been 3 games out of 16. There's a lot of season left to play. A lot of things can happen. It's the National Football League. So pull out the whiteboards now. Let's get started with a little buy or sell. And your first item up for option is the Broncos, the 3-0 start. Do you see them contending this season and keeping it up? Let's start with Zach on this one.
I think y'all already know what I'm going to say. I don't think it's much to be thinking about, I'm going to buy it. The 3-0 start, very great. Like we just talked about, they played some good teams. They played the Bengals, the Panthers, and who else they play? I keep forgetting that second game. The Colts. They played the Colts. Yeah. Andrew Luck. Those guys out there in Indianapolis.
Their defense isn't even existent.
Yeah.
They did play good teams.
Yeah. But anyway, as I was just saying, he has great weapons around him. Demaryius Thomas, C.J. Anderson is doing a good job running the ball. Emmanuel Sanders on the outside, Virgil Green going over the top. He didn't play against the Bengals last week, but the other tight end stepped up and did a pretty solid job. But you saw a breakout game last week against the Bengals. 4 touchdowns, no interceptions for Simeon. And then Demaryius Thomas and Emmanuel Sanders started to wake up. They both had a big game last week. And that defense is not going to do anything but get better. Von Miller on the outside getting to the quarterback. DeMarcus Ware got banged up, but Shane Ray stepped up. He provided some pressure on the other side. Keith Talib, Chris Harris Jr. in the secondary. Oh, yeah. Tag team, it's crazy.
Just hope Talib doesn't shoot himself again.
Oh, yeah. That leg injury, man, but he's looked pretty good, though. Shots fired. Yep. He's looked pretty good. But, I mean, I think they're not going to do anything but get better. The offense is starting to click right now, running the ball, passing the ball, so I'm going to buy it.
Okay.
I have to disagree. I'm going to sell. Because the Broncos, with Trevor Siemian, when he has to make the big pass, is he going to be able to make that? In the big game, when it's all on him, he's not just going to have to manage the game. He's going to have to perform, and he's going to have to excel. And can he do that as a quarterback in the NFL against all these great defenses? I'm not so sure on it. I'm just really not buying it.
Okay.
I like their defense. But him as a quarterback, I don't know.
Unfortunately, I'm going to have to go with Zach on this one. I'm going to have to buy it. The Broncos have been very impressive, more impressive than I thought they were going to be. Von Miller, Trevor Siemian, like I said, I think he's the best rookie or starting first year quarterback. I think he's the best first year quarterback. So I think the offense is clicking. I think I don't know. The Chiefs could still challenge them for the division. I think it's two-man race.
Hey, don't sleep on the Raiders. They're 2-1
and the Raiders.
right now.
And the Raiders.
The Raiders, they have a nice young team.
So the division is up for grabs, but I think the Broncos they'll definitely be in the playoffs.
Yeah, they will.
That sounds very different from earlier in the school year, Matthew.
I didn't say they were going to make the playoffs. I just said the Jaguars were going to be better, which makes me look like a fool right now. But there's more season to play.
Hey, Blake Bortles does not look good.
Yeah,
No, the defense isn't playing that well either. But like I said, more season to play.
Moving on to another 3-0 team with a rookie quarterback, the Philadelphia Eagles, who steamrolled essentially over the Pittsburgh Steelers. Sorry, Thomas. But a little bit of a surprising start for the Eagles, a very bit of a surprising start for the Eagles. So do you guys see them contending at all, making the playoffs even? Going to buy or sell them? Since we already called you out, let's go ahead and start with you, Thomas.
I'm buying in. Like you said, they steamrolled us. We only had 3 points. Their defense has been amazing so far this season, and they are a great all-around team. Special teams, defense, and offense. You even got Darren Sproles returning kicks, and you know how much of a threat he is. I honestly think I have to buy into this team because Carson Wentz has played a great Steeler team, in my opinion. So I'm gonna buy into it.
All right, I'm gonna have to go with sell. Like I said before, they played the Bears, Steelers, and what was the other team? They played another not as good team.
Browns.
So Carson Wentz, Browns. Browns. Carson Wentz has looked better than I think he will. I think he's going to hit a little bit of a wall, but ultimately, this is very surprising, though. The Eagles, no one, even on our show, we laughed when we said, oh, who's going to win the NFC East? No, not the Eagles. Any of the other teams, not the Eagles. But now it looks like the Eagles could win in this division. So this question is if they're going to contend, I'm going to sell it. But if they can win, I think they could probably maybe win this division.
I think they could.
I'm also going to sell. I don't think they've played good caliber teams, in all honesty. You talked about the Steelers.
On a good caliber team.
They didn't have Le'Veon Bell.
That's true. And we got banged up last week.
Okay.
A lot of injuries
on the defensive side. Yeah. But they're a great defense.
We still are. We run a 3-4 scheme, and you can't go wrong with it.
Okay. Obviously, you can.
All right, back
wrong last week.
Back to the Eagles, though. I think like when you get a young quarterback, I think the game plan is to keep it simple for them. They're doing a good job of keeping it simple right now for Carson Wentz. But I think as teams get further into the season, start strategizing more, seeing what he's doing, what he's struggling with, they're going to start mixing things up for him, making it difficult. I think it's going to be a challenge for him, especially when you get into division play. You got the Giants, you got the Redskins, you got the Cowboys. The Cowboys' defense is finally healthy.
Yep.
Once they get Romo back, they should be pretty good.
Or stay with that.
The Redskins, they picked up Josh Norman. Yep. Norman and Breland. Breland got injured. He injured his ankle against the Giants. But when they're healthy, they're a dangerous tag team. Definitely. Even though they didn't show it against the Steelers. You know, Antonio Brown was on the other side cooking.
You got Antonio Brown.
But I mean, that's
Antonio Brown.
He's going offensively.
Offensively, they're one of the best.
When everybody's there, offensively.
When Martavis Bryant's there.
They're probably the most dangerous offense.
We'll see when Le'Veon Bell comes back.
But then you get the Giants, you know. They have a nasty offense. Their defense might not be
they got big names on
above
defense.
Average. Yes, they do have some good names, but will they show up?
That's true, yeah.
But I think he's going to struggle when they get into division play. I like the Giants to take this division.
It's not a bad pick.
All right, moving on to another quarterback here. Ryan Fitzpatrick, or as we like to say, Fitzmagic. Although his last performance this week was anything but magic. It was magical for the Chiefs' defense, maybe. They got 6 interceptions on him. 6. That's insane. So all the hype that surrounded Fitzpatrick last season with his incredible performance, and off to a pretty slow start this season. So the Jets put a lot of money into him after this huge back and forth between the two. Is this a bit of a waste? Time will tell, but it's not looking good for Fitzpatrick right now. So do you buy or sell Fitzpatrick being the man for the Jets and being the guy to lead them to the promised land, so to speak?
Do you mean promised land as in playoffs or championship?
Let's just keep it simple with the playoffs.
Okay, that's what I was thinking, because I'm not buying him for the Super Bowl, but.
I think I was the first one down, so I'll go ahead and go first. I'm going to go with sell, but it's not really because of
Selling
Fitzpatrick.
the Magic?
It's not really because of him, though.
Okay.
You got to look at their defense. Todd Bowles, was a former defensive coordinator with the Cardinals. Yeah. Great defensive mind. Defense hasn't really showed up. I mean, the defensive line has played pretty good, but Revis,
Revis
torched.
I don't know.
The secondary does not look good.
No.
The front seven, okay, that defensive line, probably the best in the NFL.
It's up there.
But I mean, the back end, nah. And then you got Marshall going down. He's been out. So, I mean, you got to look at the players around Fitzpatrick. It's not really Fitzpatrick himself. Yes, he had 6 interceptions last week against the Chiefs. The Chiefs' defense is not terrible. No. Marcus Peters is one of the top young corners.
Chiefs' defense is one of the top 5 in the NFL.
NFL.
They're not
scrubs. So, I mean, they're not a terrible defense. I mean, yes, you don't want to throw 6 interceptions.
No.
Peyton Manning, I think he had 4 against them, last year? 2 years ago? He had 4 against them.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he was just 2 off, but I mean, there's still a lot of interceptions.
6 is still a lot, but.
Yeah. I don't think he's the guy for them.
I'm going to buy in. I'm buying in Fitzpatrick. You can't sell short what he did last year for this organization and what he did to bring back the prominence of the Jets.
Did they make the playoffs last year?
They did not, but they
had a chance. They
were very close.
The
Steelers made it
instead of the Jets.
Oh, okay.
Wait, weren't they 10-6?
Yeah, I think so.
Usually that'll qualify you for the playoffs.
So it was a tough year, I guess. But I'm going to buy into Fitzpatrick. I don't think he may be down right now, but he's not out. We're still very early in the season right now to judge on a 6 interception game. Yes, that seems like a lot, but I think that he's definitely going to get his act together and start to play better. This team is going to get better as the season goes on. They only have to play like the Dolphins in their division. They do have to play the Patriots twice.
They also get to play the Bills.
Yeah, exactly.
They already beat the Bills once.
I think that they're going to fly through this division. I think they can make the wild card.
Fly through the division.
Fly through the
What do you mean by that?
Well, fly through the division
Under
playing
the
bottom team.
Under the Patriots.
Okay.
I was about to say, Patriots
The Patriots are going to
going in to win the division for the next 50 years, it seems.
The wild card spot, yeah.
I'm going to buy it. Like we all said, Fitzpatrick, he had a rough day, 6 interceptions. The Chiefs are no scrubs, but he has serious talent around them. When they are healthy, Brandon Marshall, Eric Decker, Quincy Newell's breaking out, Matt Forte.
Yep.
Matt Forte, running back. They finally have a running back who is an established veteran who can run the ball.
Chris Ivory was solid.
He was.
Chris Ivory was solid.
He's
was
no Matt
solid,
Forte,
solid.
though. Matt Forte is,
Matt Forte
Definitely
hasn't been
better.
playing,
yeah, he has.
has he?
I mean, he had 3 touchdowns 2 weeks ago.
What was he doing before with the Bears?
He was racking up yards.
He's with a new team now.
Okay, you're right.
You said you trashing on Matt Forte? Matt Forte is a quality running back.
He is.
Were the Bears trash?
Who was that quarterback? Jay Cutler, one of the worst quarterbacks in the NFL. That could
trash
have
quarterback
one of
in
the worst
NFL.
defense, pretty bad defense too. Matt Forte, nothing he could do.
Now he's with a good team.
Yeah, exactly. I'm buying into it. I mean, Darrelle Revis is having an off start to the season, but I mean he's Darrelle Revis. I really think he could get back into it, not to what we've seen him before because he's on the decline, but I mean above average cornerback. I think he can get back to that and. I don't know. I mean, the AFC is so wide open in terms of playoff spots. I think they can make it, but there's so many other teams that can make it as well. If there's only 4 division winners, you got the Chiefs, you can have the Raiders, you can have the Jets, you can have
The Steelers.
the
Steelers or
Steelers.
the Bengals.
Steelers or the Bengals. There's those two. You can have some people from the AFC South,
Hey,
even though probably
the
not.
Ravens, 3-0.
Dude, the Ravens,
Oh,
yeah,
shout out to
3-0.
the Ravens. Shout out to the
Congratulations.
Ravens.
Shout out to
They're
Steve
3-0.
Smith
Might not like
showing
them, but
Jalen
they're playing pretty
Ramsey
good.
how
Oh
it goes.
yeah,
Definitely.
yeah.
But yeah, like I said, there's so many open spots in the AFC. I don't know if they could actually make the playoffs. Some of them.
Well, let's stick with the quarterback theme and move on to the Bears starting quarterback situation. Jay Cutler, as Matthew so kindly name dropped in the last little thing there. He just recently went down and missed a game with a hand injury, something along those lines. I think he's questionable for this week, but when he comes back, John Fox has not stated that he's guaranteed that starting job when he comes back. So it's looking like a possibility that Brian Hoyer's going to keep on keeping on with him. So do you guys buy or sell the possibility of Jay Cutler getting a starting job back as soon as he comes back healthy?
All right, I think I'll start us off this time. I'm gonna sell it. I mean, Jay Cutler he's got a cannon for an arm, but he doesn't care if he wins or loses. He's one of the worst quarterbacks I think in the league. He really doesn't care. He's making $115 million. I mean, I might not care either. But I really think the Bears need to move on from Jay Cutler. He's been there. He's overstayed his welcome for probably 5 years, it seems. They're not going to be good with him anytime soon. They just need to. They're already kind of rebuilding, but to further rebuild, they need to get rid of him. And Brian Hoyer is not the quarterback for the spot, but maybe they could draft a quarterback, pick one up. I don't know. Just Jay Cutler should not be in Chicago anymore. That's my thing.
I'm agreeing. I'm selling. You can't go with Jay Cutler anymore. How long has he been with the Bears? And this has gone on. They've tried to put together pieces. They brought in Alshon Jeffrey. They brought in some more defensive pieces to try to make the defense better.
They had Matt Forte.
Yep, they had Matt Forte, a great running back in the National Football League.
Man, he's a great running back.
I think he's great.
Solid.
I think he's great, but they're missing the quarterback. You can't have Jay Cutler there, and Brian Hoyer is definitely not your starting franchise quarterback. I think they should draft a quarterback in the upcoming draft.
Maybe get Deshaun. If they tank, maybe get Deshaun.
But the Chicago Bears, they have to do something about the quarterback situation, or they're just going to continue to implode every single year.
All right.
You buying this?
Yeah, I'm gonna buy it.
Man, I knew it.
How long has Matthew Stafford been with the Lions?
Probably same amount of time as Jay Cutler.
Too long?
They've been doing about the same thing, right? Not getting to the playoffs, right?
I made it to the playoffs twice.
Did I advocate for Matthew Stafford?
Oh no, I'm just throwing out another name.
They're about the same, but Matthew Stafford actually cares if he wins. Jay Cutler couldn't care less.
All right, but I mean, is he not better than Brian Hoyer?
For the short term, yes, he's better, but let's look long term here. Do we want to be another 6-10, 5-11 team, or do you want to actually,
Okay,
get
everybody
somewhere?
knows they're not going to be good, but I mean,
Yeah.
I think they could win more games with Jay Cutler.
But do you really want to win more games with Jay Cutler
They have
this year?
Kevin White on the outside. They got Alshon Jeffrey on the outside. He has some weapons around him. They got Langford when he's healthy.
Does he have a
at
defense?
running back.
Not at all.
They drafted buddy from Georgia. What's his name?
You should know this.
linebacker.
I don't know.
It went
Obviously,
through my
he's not
mind.
that
But
good if you can't remember his name.
They picked up Danny Trevathan, former Bronco,
Uh-huh.
at middle linebacker, so he's a good captain of that defense.
Hasn't he been
right there.
injured?
Nah, he was actually playing. Last I saw
I thought I saw him on an injury report. But okay.
Last I saw he was playing. But I mean, I feel like he's a better option than Brian Hoyer. So I mean, anybody over Brian Hoyer,
I think anybody over Jay Cutler. I don't
think
think he
so,
should not
yeah.
be in Chicago anymore. He needs to.
It's time
he
to
needs to
I
go.
mean, I'm
fresh.
not
It's time to
saying
start
he's the
fresh.
man, but I mean, put some respect on the man's name.
Man, I'm not gonna put some respect on Jay Cutler's name. Are you kidding me?
Put some respect
What has
on
he
the
done
man's
for you
name.
No,
lately?
never.
What has he done for you lately?
What has Ben Roethlisberger done for the Steelers lately?
Oh, okay. We're not going to get to that.
But Ben
This
Roethlisberger
QB
has
rating-
brought them some Super Bowls.
His QB rating might be
Lately.
down, but he has 2 Super Bowls, 3 Super Bowl appearances.
Big Ben's
When
also
was the
been.
last time?
Big Ben's been injured.
He's been injured.
When was the last time?
Maybe about 2011 when we played the Packers.
I think it's about 2016 right now.
I know this.
How many Super Bowl rings does Jay
still-
Cutler have? How many playoff wins does Jay Cutler
We talking
have?
about lately, man. We talking about lately.
But what has Jay Cutler done for you?
Hey, man, I'm not saying he's a better option than Brian Hoyer. That's all I'm saying, man.
Okay.
That's it.
Well, with sticking with the quarterback situation, we just love our quarterbacks, I guess. But the Patriots have a messed up quarterback situation right now. Tom Brady is going to be serving the 4th and final game of his suspension this weekend, so he's out. Jimmy Garoppolo, their backup, who did pretty well in the games he played in, and as a fill-in for him, he's out with an injury. Jacoby Brissett got injured in the last game, so they're pretty much out of the quarterback options at this point. The name of Julian Edelman has been thrown around, their wide receiver, as a possible emergency quarterback. So what do you guys think? Do you buy or sell the possibility of seeing Edelman take a snap at quarterback this upcoming Sunday?
Take your time. Take your time.
I forgot how to talk.
Someone else go. You selling this?
Sell. Get rid of it. Don't let it happen.
Why not?
Tell me
Why would you? Leave him at receiver. He's a good receiver. He gets open. He creates space. I think Jacoby Brissett will be fine to play. If not,
Yeah. Well, if not,
If
what happens? If not,
you
what
know,
happens?
They don't have any other options.
They don't have any other
Hopefully
quarterback.
they sign somebody, you know. But I mean, if Brissett can't play, I mean, I guess he would have to play quarterback. I mean, if they don't pick anybody up in these next few days before Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I figure they'll pick somebody up. It's a pretty good selection of quarterbacks. They got Mike Vick out there.
Very true.
Mike Vick, he's a good.
Hey man, he can play a game. All he needs for is a game.
Maybe, yeah. So can Julian Edelman. You can put anybody. Oh, I'll
But
let you go.
do you want to risk him getting hurt though?
That's true.
That's true.
You gotta think about long term.
Yep. I'm gonna buy him because, just like Tom said last week, anybody could play quarterback for the Patriots. Julian Edelman, he's an athlete. He's a really good receiver, and I bet he's probably a really great quarterback. But he hasn't been able to show off his talent yet. And you give him a chance against, they're playing the Dolphins, I believe, this weekend.
Yeah.
They're not gonna.
Maybe the Browns will take him,
Yeah, the
take him
Dolphins
away
are not
from
gonna
him.
win. The
Sign him as quarterback.
The Patriots right now are the best team in the NFL, as we could probably agree.
He's not going to
I'm not
agree.
agreeing
He's
with
gonna-
that. I'm not agreeing with that.
But I'm gonna buy
tough call.
I'm gonna buy into Julian Edelman. They're the best.
I'm gonna. Oh, it's upside down. I'm gonna buy this, dude. I would love to see Julian Edelman
Yeah.
play quarterback. He played at Kent State. I mean, none of us have probably ever seen him play, but like you said, anybody could play quarterback. I could probably play quarterback. I could throw it to Gronk, and
All right, let's not, Matthew. Let's not do that.
I want to see.
see
I want
that.
to see him. Maybe if it's not even for the whole game, maybe for the first half, maybe for the first quarter.
A couple snaps.
Maybe for
I'm
a
sure
couple
they have
snaps.
some
I'm
packages.
the Wildcat.
going on for
I know they got something.
Give Julian the ball. Let him throw it. That's what I gotta say.
All right, let's move on now to some college football action. Les Miles, who had been on the hot seat for basically the past year and a half, finally the seat got too hot and he got booted out. Recently fired the past couple of days, so he's now a free agent head coach out there for anybody who wants him. What do you guys think? Do you buy or sell the possibility that Les Miles will have a new job by the start of next season?
I mean, I'm going to go with bye. I don't know if it's that much of an argument. I mean, Les Miles is one of the best coaches in college football.
Exactly.
Today, his team has underperformed for the last 2 years, so I understand why he got fired.
Right.
But he's a national championship. I think he's won two or three SEC games, SEC championship games, not SEC championship games. So I mean,
A bunch of SEC games.
There's a whole bunch of colleges out there that I'm sure need a coach, and I'm sure he's going to go to another, maybe a powerhouse, or in the Power Five. I'm sure he'll go to one of those schools. So I don't doubt that he'll get a job by next year, maybe even this season, but more likely next year.
You have to buy into Les Miles. He's a great coach. He's a proven leader. He's won the national championship before, just like you said, plenty of SEC games. He's won in the SEC. Like, you can't go wrong with the SEC proven coach who's gone against the best of the best. Nick Saban, Steve Spurrier, plenty of names. I have to buy into it.
Oh yeah, no doubt. I think we all on the same page right here. I'm gonna buy it too. But
I hope so.
Steve Spurrier, you mentioned his name just now. He stepped down last year.
Yep.
He has a position now with Florida. I mean, granted, yes, he did play there, but I mean, he found a position.
Definitely.
He's also
Now,
got like 30 years on.
If we're talking about head coaching, I think he could find a job by the beginning of next season. I saw something earlier today that said North Carolina head coach Larry Fedora. He could possibly take the LSU job, so that would leave North Carolina wide open. I mean, they do have Gene Chizik up there as a coordinator, but I mean, Gene Chizik, Les Miles used to be going against each other. They could team up. Do something in North Carolina.
They got Elijah Hood. He's a pretty good running back.
Fedora plans to leave, so like you said, a Power 5 conference, Power 5 school.
I'm sure he'll get a job.
I'm sure he'll find a
He'll
job.
definitely find a job.
All right, guys, let's do a quick lightning round of sorts here. Let's get your guys' thoughts. Most surprising team in the NFL this year, and your most disappointing team, and just say a couple of sentences about why you think each one is which.
So we're doing surprising first.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Let me go first. I'm gonna say the Ravens. A lot of people will say the Eagles or the Vikings, which I completely understand. They're very surprising in a good way. But the Ravens are 3-0. They've only won their games by 4.3 points. They haven't played very good opponents, but they've squeaked out of those games. I mean, Steve Smith is looking like a guy who didn't tear his Achilles last year. Joe Flacco's back. They have somewhat of a healthy team. Dennis Pitt is back after his career might have been over with a hip injury. So I'm rooting for the Ravens to go as far as maybe they can go. But I think the surprising team for me is the Ravens.
I'm going with the Vikings because when's the last time you heard Sean Hill and Sam Bradford as quarterbacks being able to lead their team to 3-0? Not very likely, and that's why it's the most surprising. Their defense is very, very good. If you saw what they did in Week 2 against the Packers on Sunday night to Aaron Rodgers.
Even Week 3,
yeah,
even last week.
Like they play consistently great defense all the time. This Viking team is really going to do something. And we didn't think so because Teddy Bridgewater was going to be hurt.
NAP.
Definitely.
I honestly don't know. I didn't write anything on my board. I don't think the Vikings is really a surprise to me.
Really?
I mean, you look at who they have on the offensive side. Yes, AP is hurt. He wasn't playing good this year. So, I mean, the loss, yes, it's going to affect them.
But he was going to pick it up. He was going to be AP.
He wasn't really
better as the season goes
okay,
on.
yes, but he wasn't doing nothing up to that point. He wasn't doing anything. Teddy Bridgewater, he's a solid quarterback. He's really a game manager if you really think about it. He has AP in the backfield.
I think he's got some talent. I think he's
the role on that team is to limit your turnovers, get the ball to AP, get it to the outside to Stephon Diggs, dude from Tennessee, Cordell Patterson.
Yep.
So, he has weapons on the offensive side. That defense has been nasty since last year. It's not really a surprise to me.
They should have beat the Seahawks.
They should have. Definitely.
The Ravens, Joe Flacco, you can't count out Joe Flacco whenever he's the quarterback.
No, never.
They had some injuries last year. Terrell Suggs got hurt the first game against the Broncos.
Yeah.
So them coming back healthy, that really didn't surprise me either. So it's not really a surprise team out there for me right now.
But you would think the Ravens would go 3-0?
You
would think both of these players?
They haven't played anybody. Who the Ravens played?
I don't know. I know they played the Browns and the Jags.
Yep.
Yeah. I'm just saying, I did 3-0.
Still
That's
NFL
surprising.
team. Still NFL
Yeah.
teams.
Maybe the Vikings are more surprised because they're 3-0 too.
Since we're talking about NFL teams, the Browns are an NFL team.
Yeah.
Trash. Consistently.
They're still an NFL team. They still compete every Sunday.
You're right. Everybody
Speaking of
competes.
speaking of the Browns, guys. Speaking of the Browns, you got to at least have a disappointing team, Zach.
Disappointing? Let's see.
Gotta write something.
Well, you got to write something for at least one.
I'm gonna write it down. I'm gonna write it down this time. I'm gonna write it down.
Something.
All right.
Guess I'll go first.
Go for it.
I'm gonna go with the Colts because right now they're 1-2 and they have not played very well. They lost to the Broncos, which I understand why they lost that game, and they only barely beat the Chargers last week. Andrew Luck has not played well so far. I expected him to play well. This is a playoff team, I thought, but the way they've been playing, a 1-2 team, and they play in the AFC South, which is not that tough of a division. So I thought that they were going to be able to compete this year, but I'm not seeing it so far.
All right, I'll go next. I got the Cardinals. Cardinals are 1-2. Where are they? Carson Palmer has 5 touchdowns, 4 interceptions.
Played bad
I guess
last
they're looking like the team that played the Panthers in the NFC Championship game, getting blown out of the water. Where are the Cardinals? I don't know.
Where are the Panthers?
You could say that too. I didn't want to say the Panthers though. That'd be too depressing. I'm going with the Cardinals.
All right. I'm gonna go with the Giants. Like I just said, I think they can win the division. Right now, they just lost to the Redskins.
Yeah.
How you lose to the Redskins?
The Redskins aren't terrible.
They got Josh Norman.
They have
Josh Norman.
Kirk Cousins at
He's a
quarterback.
good quarterback.
Captain Kirk, baby.
Hey, he won them the division last year, didn't he?
Breland got hurt.
Kirk won them the division.
They have a
With
nasty
the
receiving
best statistical
core.
seains in Redskins
Great
history.
receiver.
Damn.
Great receiver.
It's been
The
out
Giants
back,
have a great
right?
receiving core. They should have annihilated the Redskins.
Why didn't they?
Shoulda, woulda, coulda.
Exactly. That's why I'm disappointed.
Okay.
They should have won. But I think they can still win the division. You know.
Yeah. I think you can pick anybody to win in this division now.
Yeah, that division.
You can make a legitimate
is-
argument for anybody.
It's going to be a very, very messy division.
It's
Everybody's
like
gonna
it's like
start
that every
losing.
year.
Every
It's like
year.
that every year.
It's not going to change.
It's the
anything.
gonna be
story
like
of the
8-8.
NFC. All right, let's move on now to college football. I mean, why did we get hype at the beginning of this video if we're not going to talk about the game? So, college game day, back in Clemson. Number 3 Louisville, number 5 Clemson. This game has major implications for the ACC and the playoff. So, you know, we could very well see the winner of this game win the ACC and possibly play in the national championship game and even win it all. Don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves there, but that's the possibility here. So, and we're looking at 2 of the best quarterbacks in all of college football going head-to-head. Deshaun Watson, who solidified himself as a great last season and is continuing to perform at a good level this season, and Lamar Jackson, who has just come out of nowhere into the Heisman race and solidified himself as probably the front runner with just exceptional numbers out of the gate, outscoring even some of the top 25 teams by himself. So, with that in mind, what do you guys think about this game? What are you most excited to see? And more importantly, give us your pick on the whiteboard. Who wins?
I'm just here so I can see Lamar Jackson. You know why I'm here. Louisville has averaged about 60 points a game. They put up 59 on Florida State,
Exactly.
a pretty good Florida State team,
And held them to 20.
and held them to 20. Lamar Jackson is unreal. He has 13 touchdowns passing in the air, 3 interceptions, 12 rushing touchdowns. He's doing everything
Oh, he's
for
a monster.
Louisville.
He's a monster, yeah.
Tim Tebow-esque, just without the
Hey
size.
man, he
Cam
he's-
Newton-esque.
he looks
Cam
nasty.
Newton-esque.
He looks nasty, man. But Deshaun Watson, he's gotten off to a pretty good start. He got off to the same start last year. His numbers are identical: 9 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. I mean, can't go wrong with that. He's been solid. I would like to see him. He's definitely going to have to run the ball more.
Yeah.
He doesn't have a running touchdown yet this year. He's only run for 120 yards so far this year. But I mean, I think it's going to come down to the running game. Who can run the ball better or who can stop the run? Because Lamar Jackson, he can do it all. If you force him to throw the ball, he showed he could beat you in the air. I mean, yes, he's elusive when he gets in the open field, but I mean, he can also throw the ball. Don't sleep on his passing skills.
Who
He
you
can still throw
picking?
the ball. I'm going to go with Clemson.
Okay.
38-24. I think the running game
Really?
is going to be
That wide? That wide of a margin?
14.
Yeah.
It's not too bad.
That's pretty wide.
That's not too bad.
2 touchdowns.
That's
2 touchdowns. I mean,
For a 3-5 game, that is kind of wide.
But
all right.
it's your pick, not mine.
Yeah.
Your pick.
But I think, like I said, it's going to come down to the running game. Who's going to be able to stop the run and throw the ball, run the ball, you know. But I think the Clemson defense will be able to force a couple of turnovers, maybe an interception or 2, force fumble. Pretty veteran group on the front end. The back end a little young, but I mean,
Very young, yeah.
the offense is dangerous. That's why I said 38 points.
Okay.
I think they pick it up this week.
I agree. It's going to be like an ACC shootout. We're no surprise, but I got to go with Clemson as my pick because I think they're finally going to get the running game going, as Zach said. They're finally going to be able to bring Gallman. I think they should put him actually behind the center. I think Dabo should mix up a little different play calls this week and
Wildcat?
do some different things.
Okay.
Put Ray back there. Do something. But I think Deshaun's definitely going to finally go off. I think the Clemson defense is going to step up this week. You cannot go wrong with Carlos Watkins, Ben Boulware. I think they're finally going to step up and show that this is the best team in the ACC. And I don't think that Louisville is that great as everyone sees. Yes, I know they beat an FSU team, but they haven't played the best teams. This Clemson team has been in big games, and they are a big game team. And we know.
At the time, Florida State was, number 2, right?
They were
They were. But it's early in the season. I think Clemson is a big game team. I think they're going to show it this weekend.
Also, one more thing to add before you go real quick.
Okay.
This is Louisville's first true road game.
I was about to bring that up.
exactly.
Their first true
They're in
road
Death
game.
Valley. They're not at home.
They're not going at Marshall. That's not okay.
And they had it at 8.
Yeah.
I have like a I don't know what the word I'm looking for, like a superstition. Like that game should have been at 8.
Yeah.
I think they were just getting ready for this week, you know. But I mean, go ahead. I don't know.
Well, I'm going to go with Clemson. I think this is going to be the Notre Dame game of last year. All this hype, a lot of people picking Louisville. Granted, they have a right to, just like a lot of people pick Notre Dame. A lot of people pick Notre Dame. It's their first true road game. They beat Florida State at home. I think everybody, tickets sold out within the first few minutes.
Real quick.
Home field is a true thing. We all know Death Valley's going to be pumping all 83,000. So
You saw a lot of got last year when Notre Dame was here, and the penalties. You saw that
exactly,
that affected them too.
It'll be the Notre Dame game minus the rain. It might even rain a little bit.
I don't think
know.
Lamar is ready for that. I don't think he's ready for an atmosphere. He's never had to go into Death Valley before. Like, this is his first time. Like, that can rattle you. It truly can.
I think if I had to compare it to any game last year, I would probably say the Oklahoma game. Look at Baker Mayfield. Did a lot of things for Oklahoma last year.
So you think it's only a blowout?
Granted, they had Samaje Perine in the backfield. I mean, like the hype going into
Yeah,
it.
I got you.
You got to stop Samaje Perine. You got to stop
Sterling Shepard.
On the outside.
And they did.
And you got Baker Mayfield. And they shut him down.
They did.
Yeah.
They won by 20. I think it was like 37-17.
Oh, it was blowout. Yeah.
So I mean,
The Clemson run defense is very underrated. I think they're definitely going to show up and shut down Lamar Jackson. I think he might have maybe just one rushing touchdown, but I don't think he'll go off.
I think it's going to be closer. I think we won by 2 last year. I think we'll win by a field goal this year.
I'll say
I think
about
it'll be close.
I'll say about 35-32.
Okay. Cool.
All right, guys, let's switch gears a little bit, take a little bit of a left turn of sorts, talk about some huge baseball news that just occurred this past Sunday. In case you didn't already know, the Miami Marlins star pitcher Jose Fernandez passed away on Sunday in a boating accident. And this was sudden news that kind of shook not just the baseball world, but the world of sports in general. And it's something that really hit a lot of people really hard because he meant a lot, not just to the Marlins, not just to the city of Miami, but as someone from Cuba, he meant a lot to the Cuban community. And he was only 24, which I know no age makes it good, but that's incredibly young. And this is just a tragedy that has really left a lot of people speechless. And even I, right now, trying to talk about this, have no true good words to describe what's happened here. So just as we think about this, and we just want to send all of us here at Tigervision and from Clemson University want to extend our thoughts, prayers, and condolences to the Miami Marlins and everyone who knew Jose, everyone who was close to him. We want to send our deepest condolences to all of his loved ones. We're keeping them in our thoughts and prayers. And also on a similar note, Arnold Palmer, the legendary golfer, passed away on Sunday as well at the age of like 87, I think. again, another huge loss for the sports community, and our thoughts and prayers are with him and his family as well. So now let's switch gears again to a little bit of a lighter note. Let's move on to the NBA, which is starting soon. But with recent news of a loss of a different kind, Kevin Garnett has recently announced his retirement. And this begs us to ask the question, what about his legacy? Where does he stand among the greats? We talked about Kobe earlier, a while back on Kobe Day, and how he stood. Well, now let's see where KG stands. What do you guys think? How's KG's legacy stacking up?
I guess I'll go first.
for it.
I think KG is the hardest working NBA player, one of the hardest working NBA players that we've ever seen. He went from Milwaukee and he took that team to actually doing pretty well.
Minnesota.
Oh, Minnesota. There we go. The Timberwolves, he did pretty well with them. And then he finally got the team together and was able to go to Boston and work his butt off to try to win a championship. And when he won a championship, I'm a Lakers fan, but to see him win, like, that was amazing. So I definitely think he's charismatic with the media. I really love this guy. He definitely stacks up with some of the best.
I mean, anything is possible. I mean, he's one of the greatest power forwards of all time. Like you said, he won a championship with Boston. He could have won more, but I mean, he was with the Timberwolves and the best players he had. He didn't really have any.
Sprewell at one point.
Yeah, he had Castle too. He had him, but he had no true stars with him, unlike when he went to Boston. So he put up big numbers. So he's one of the greatest of all time. I mean, everybody agrees with that.
I think getting drafted out of high school is a big time deal.
Amazing.
I saw something earlier this week about he didn't know if he was going to get drafted. I think he went 5th overall.
Yeah, sounds right.
In '96. But he was the face of the franchise going to Minnesota. He was the guy. He was the man. So, I mean, he wanted to win. He was losing there. Got out of that situation. Like y'all said, went to Boston, Big Three. The first Big Three of many that we see now.
They made the Big Three.
They were the original Big Three. You could potentially say Big Four, Rondo.
Yep, I'll throw him in there.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think he's definitely one of the top power forwards in this game. Like you said, one of the hardest workers, one of the best trash talkers on the court.
Exactly.
Too.
He was
He'll
real.
get in somebody's head.
Yeah.
He was real.
He would get in
no
somebody's
fake,
head.
no
Like, he
famous
loved basketball,
Yeah.
and you could
He
tell.
loved the game. You could
tell.
see his passion on the court before the game, getting hype, getting his teammates hype. I know. What's his name? Karl Anthony Towns learned a lot from last year.
Definitely.
And he might be coming back as a.
He posted on Instagram. He was like, "We had our talk." So I mean, hey, he got the keys to the franchise right now. We gonna have to see what he can do.
Yep.
He's probably
So, I
going to come
mean,
back as an official on the Timberwolves.
Yeah.
as a
Some-
front
some-
office
an
person.
An ambassador or something. He
Yeah.
should
Kind of
definitely
coach,
be.
yeah.
He needs to. So
But definitely one of the top power forwards. Definitely in the top 10 out of power forwards.
I agree.
But yeah, he'll be a Hall of Famer. That Hall of Fame class would be something serious.
Oh,
Duncan, Kobe,
Kobe.
and KG. Whew,
yeah.
that's a hard 3.
It compares to this year.
Steve Nash.
With Allen Iverson and Shaq this year.
Yeah, Yao.
Steve Nash, Nowitzki.
Yeah.
Nowitzki, my bad.
Well, Tigers, thanks for tuning in tonight. That's all the time we have for you. We talked about a lot of great things and a lot of fun things that we couldn't get to tonight, but that will definitely get talked about in the future. But in case you didn't know, game day's back in Clemson. If you weren't already hype enough, just stay tuned, and you will be. But if you're not hype at this point, then go see a doctor because there's something wrong with you. So we'll see you here again next Wednesday, 8:30, Tigervision, Clemson University. We're out. See you Saturday.